Welcome to another episode, everyone. Suge Knight talks about whether or not Tupac was violated in prison. There's long since been a rumor that Tupac had his manhood taken there in prison. In fact, Suge Knight reportedly had confirmed this at one point. He had to know he had close dealings with Pac. He went and got Tupac out of prison. Now he's saying something a little bit different, but let's get into it and see if we can find out what happened to my guy Pac, man. They're in prison. Rest in peace to Pac. I don't believe it, by the way. I'm sure this never happened. Tupac once said, if he didn't let anyone take his jewelry, why would he let someone take his manhood? Well, yeah, good point.
Suge Knight, happy to have you, my man.
Hey, man, I heard some good things about you. I don't listen too much or hear too much in here, but I just be doing my time.
Yeah, man, finally made it happen, man. I've been trying to get you on the platform for a while now, man.
Well, man, I'm happy to be here. And like I said earlier when we first chopped it up, it's always a blessing to use our platform and use our time to help each other. And I think that's one of the most important things that we need to do for one each other. For all,
Yes, indeed. So I got to ask you, man, I don't want to waste no time. It's been a rumor going around that Pac, he was violated in prison, and people, they're alleging that you confirmed this. Can you speak on that?
Now, this is the thing. There's no way to my knowledge that Tupac ever been violated in prison. When I went to go see Pac for the very first time, and it was his wife named Keisha who made sure I went to go visit him. When I went to go see Pac, it wasn't even about signing him to death row or getting him out of prison. I went to go visit him because he said he needed to see me. When I went to go visit Pac, he said he was never going to rap again. It's over. He said he had no bread. His mother didn't have a place to live. He had something he's publishing. He'll do whatever. And I told him, no, I ain't going to take advantage of him when he's up against it. And he should never say he would never rap again. He's too much incredible of a rapper. He got too much influence. And I always felt the same way. He's one of the best rappers to ever do it before he came to death row. And I'm quite sure if it was a situation where he was violated or something, he would have told me. Because I was there to go there anywhere he needed to go there. I ain't from New York, but I got a lot of good friends from New York. So if I say we're going to go, they're going to go. And whoever with them is going to go. I never read anything about Tupac being violated. But I'm going to say it like this. Pac is a real one. And if anybody can get beat up sometime, 10 motherfuckers can beat somebody up. But I'm quite sure if that really would have happened, Pac would have got on him. Or he would have told me about it, and we'd have got on, we'd have took a ride to his homies. It wouldn't have been like no repercussion behind it. But everybody want to talk about the best. You put themselves in that car. Nowadays, you got to start asking people, who is you and where was you at? Because most people doing talking, they say the most craziest things to get some attention to make their name. That's facts. I ain't never going to sit there and say Tupac got his manhood taken in prison. Number one, if that did happen, it's definitely not to my knowledge. I would say no, it didn't happen. But if that did happen, what I'm going to talk about it for? I'm going to be action. The most I ever said regarding that situation is this, plain and simple. And I still stand behind it. I said, hey, even when they said Tupac got raped, you didn't see me talk about it. You didn't see me mention that. But what I did do, for a fact, when I heard certain people were said on the West Coast, who's knocking on their door. And they had some understanding, and they wasn't talking about it no more. But, you know, I look at it like words are just alphabets. People can take those alphabets and make them out to any word letter you want to say. That don't mean shit. I'm quite sure a whole bunch of people got some dark sides. But I never believed that about Tupac.
Yeah, I'm happy you spoke on that, man. There's a lot of people running with that. But I want to ask you, who put up Tupac bail money?
That was me 1,000%. How that works is this.
Well, I too am glad to hear him say that because, I mean, he says that he never confirmed, you know, the rumor of Tupac being violated there in prison. But again, purportedly, he did say this at some juncture. I don't know. I have to take his word for it. I didn't see any footage or anything where he confirmed this. So he says that he did not confirm it. Then there you have it. But nevertheless, regardless, he's saying now unequivocally that he does not believe that Tupac was violated in any way there in prison, because if he had been, Suge says he believes that Tupac would have told him. He would have told him about it, and that they would have took care of business. They would have went and resolved that situation. I mean, what's done is done, but they would have avenged that had this been voracious. But clearly, he doesn't believe that this ever happened. He said Tupac was a strong individual, and, you know, he would have fought back. But anyone, he said, well, anyone, of course, can get beat down or overpowered by 10 individuals. And if you're there in prison, oftentimes that is how it happens, or it could happen in that way. But people put rumors out on individuals, particularly someone of Tupac's stature, often, and then these rumors take on a life of themselves. And oftentimes there's no accuracy to them whatsoever. They just take on a life of their own. No, rest in peace, Pac. It never happened, bro.
I got to deal with Interscope. When I came to Interscope was on their way out. If you go before me doing a deal with Interscope, nobody can tell you who Interscope was, Ted Fields, or Jimmy Iovine. I know black motherfuckers. Like I told Interscope, not only will I make Death Row worldwide, I'm going to make Interscope worldwide. The Chronic was already done. 187 on the Undercover Cop was already done on that soundtrack before I even went to Interscope. My situation with Interscope is this. They basically work for me. Because if they do what Simon says, they're going to listen what he wants. So, a lot of times, buying stuff with a Death Row check came with a whole bunch of problems. That's a black-owned company. Buying stuff with a Universal or at the time it was MCA or Interscope check, that's a public trade company with white people. So, Interscope always owe me money every month, and they have a bankroll of my money. So if I tell Interscope to buy this house, they're going to send the money. But it's still charged to me. So nobody put that money up, guaranteed that money, and did anything to get
You have 60 seconds remaining.
out of prison but me. And if that's the case, why no one else done it? So many people say what they would have did. If it was a fit, we all be Trump. So that's that.
Okay. There you have it. Let me know what you think in the comments. Suge Knight says that he never confirmed the rumor of Tupac being violated there in prison. And he says that he used his own money to bail Pac out of prison. That a lot of people talked about it and act like they were going to help to free Tupac, but they never did. But he stood on it. I don't know, man. A lot of people, you know, they sort of castigated Suge Knight when Tupac was murdered, of course. You know, many individuals pointed the finger at Suge Knight, said that Tupac was trying to leave the label and because of this, Suge Knight set it all up. But again, there have been many conspiracy theories as to exactly why Tupac was killed, because people just don't want to accept it. Even now, people don't want to accept it. I understand. As I said, it took me a very long time to accept that Tupac Shakur was really dead. For a long time, I believed, like many other people, that he was not. It's just a sad situation all the way around. But I don't know. I mean, I am curious to know what you all think about Suge Knight and his position, if not participation, but his position, in all of this, stuff with Tupac. Was he responsible in some way? I don't believe he set it up. Or he's sitting in the car, and there's no way he's going to tell these dudes to go ahead and shoot in the car and try to kill Tupac as I'm sitting right there. That would be nonsense. That would just be crazy. I believe it was more spontaneous, that it happened right there on the moment because of what happened in the MGM casino. But nevertheless, more is Suge Knight responsible in the sense that for having Tupac in that sort of environment. Should Tupac have ever went to death row? Many people feel like Tupac would still be alive, of course, if he was in New York or wherever, Atlanta, whatever, just had never went to LA, had never hooked up with death row. It's hard to argue that but he was getting into trouble even before he got to LA. But, well, yeah, he'd been shot and everything, so it's hard to say, man. But there you have it. Let me know, do you think Tupac was violated in prison? Because this is what individuals were saying when he was in prison. This was a rumor. And when he got out of prison, this was a heavy rumor that Tupac had been violated in there. Again, most of his staunch fans never believed this, as I never did and still do not. I mean, I don't think that there's anything to it. People just put these rumors out on individuals, again, and these rumors have a propensity to take on a life of their own. Rest in peace to Tupac Amaru Shakur. Stay safe and stay free, people.